This is the septic addendum. Again, if they're septic, this addendum is filled out and signed. So this is how it's generally filled out. Okay, read it. It's in layman's terms. This one's not too bad. So typically C is the one that's checked off. The buyer has the right to inspect the septic. And then these are the general dates that, you know, if you can leave them blank or you can type 10 in there, that's the standard timeline for the inspections. And then this is a number right here, this 5,000 here. This is like what the seller is agreeing to upfront to be responsible for in the event the system fails. So I've seen this number vary wildly. So if you're watching this video because you're like, I just don't know what to put in this document to get it to, I would put 5,000 there if you represent the buyer, and hopefully, you know, it'll get signed and not be an issue. But, you know, we see septic systems that are 2012 fail and need to be totally redone. To redo a system right now at the time of making this video, March 2022, about 25,000. So this at least puts a buffer on it, so if there's minor issues, the seller will automatically be responsible to fix it. If the whole thing needs to be replaced, right, we're human beings, we don't want to see the seller like just automatically, I mean we do if you represent the buyer in some cases, but it'll at least give a little bit of a buffer for them. So 5,000 is a typical number that I put there. If somebody sent you this contract and there's another number there, it's fine. Just make sure that the buyer's okay with it. Make sure everybody's on the same page with that number. And the timeline for the inspections. The last thing to note here is the buyer pays for the septic inspection. So it actually says buyers exercising the right, all tests. It says somewhere here at the buyer's sole cost. The buyer's sole expense shall make these inspections. However, in the real world, and I say this here, in almost every deal, the buyer pays for the inspection, but the seller pays for the septic pumping. And even the companies kind of run it like that. So prepare your seller that they're going to have to pay a couple $100, $200 to $300 to have that pumping done. That's just typically how it's done. It's not worth arguing or upsetting the deal over that. And arguing over this language here, because that's the way it's always been done. So I've run into that issue. I just don't want to see it to happen for you. Buyer pays for the testing. That's the expensive part. The seller pays for the pumping.